Hi everyone and welcome to Vintage Digitals. I am starting a series with watch repair because the digital watch resource is dwindling, and every time we find one, it's highly likely that it has some faults, and we know that it's very hard to find a watchmaker that will actually fix the watch. I thought the best way to start was with some educational content, and that is a book, the Digital Watch Repair Manual. I bought it off of eBay for $25 plus shipping. At the moment of this video, it is available on the writer's website, which is zentech.com. You can buy it there for $20. I opted for eBay because shipping was cheaper for me. The book itself doesn't really look like a book, it's more like a magazine, and you can see it's held together with a spiral, and it's actually printed on regular paper. The book is 3rd edition, whatever that is supposed to mean, and it was written in the 1970s, late 70s, and I believe this because it's 1980s copyrighted, so most of the information was collected in the late 70s when it was really early in the game for LCD watches. LED watches were still in force at that time, and it does have a dedicated chapter to LED watches, but most of the information applies to LCD watches. The book has 8 chapters and a glossary. Most important chapters are 1, 2, 3 and 7. The first two provide very good description of the inside workings of LED and LCD watches and divide the whole watch into sub-modules like up converter or oscillating circuit and so on. What each does is thoroughly described, and to give you an impression of how thorough, well, the LCD display description may be used as a starting read if you want to start manufacturing displays. The 3rd chapter is the most interesting and LCD watch dedicated. It starts off with a repair philosophy that I encourage you to read, and afterwards goes through the sub-modules describing possible issues and what are their fixes. It also covers diagnosis and diagnose tools. Chapters 4 and 5, while providing good insight in power cell and power consumption, they may not be of interest in the present, when in our mindset a 2-year battery life is more than enough. And nowadays the manufacturing processes and quality of the cells are at a higher standard. Chapter 7 is important in the sense that it describes a method of fixing interrupted electrical circuits, especially wire bonds. Now, wire bonds were used in the past to connect integrated circuits to paths on the PCB. In the 80s and 90s, these were no longer visible in the watch and are inside the IC itself. But you can use the same tools and technique to fix broken traces, an all too common defect with 80s and 90s watches that were stored improperly or got left batteries inside them for a long time. The last chapter is useful only as an exercise in the principle of calibration. Some of the tools, sources described can be substituted by online precise time website. Do give it a read as it rounds up the book. The glossary at the end is testimony that the book was written for beginners or not so technical people. It describes abbreviations and terms used through the book that are specific to the watch industry and many general electric terms. I encourage you to buy the book, especially if you want to start repairing digital watches. There are a lot of bargains on eBay where the watches are sold as non-working, and from this you can learn a few tricks that may bring those watches back to life. Thanks for watching this short book review. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, that helped quite a bit. And I'll see you in the next video.